Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
This is the digital asset investor. I think that we need to talk about this little investment curve. I have shown you this before, and this is very, very illustrative of what is going on in cryptocurrencies right now. And I'm seeing a lot of it, like on Twitter and YouTube and in different areas. I have seen some of the nastiest things on social media. Really, I've noticed it after XRP went live. I've seen a lot of these. Why is XRP not going up in price and this and this and this? But I've noticed a trend towards a lot of people just being nasty to people in the XRP community, or just and also cryptocurrencies in general. So I think it's important to take a step back and look at the big picture, which is what I like to do, because the big picture of what we're looking at is that we're looking at the evolutionary rise of cryptocurrencies, and the big picture is so much bigger than all this silliness that's going on in these communities. I've even seen YouTubers attacking YouTubers. I've seen people attack me and try to tell me they know more than me. I've seen people attack other YouTubers. I've seen people attack people on Twitter over all kinds of silly things that have nothing to do with the big picture. The big picture I go over all the time. And the big picture is that Wall Street's coming. Ripple is doing everything right. Cryptocurrencies in general are going to do great over the next few years, because there's going to be a wave. Just the newness of it alone, there's going to be a huge tidal wave of capital coming in. And the excitement, just like you and I, who were early adopters, were excited when we first saw it, and have been excited and have enjoyed investing in cryptocurrencies and buying them and going in and out of different ones and settling on our favorites. The same thing is going to happen on a much larger scale with when the average Joe investors, as I call them, come in. But I wanted to take a look at this curve and just kind of show you where I think we are. I think obviously we were at the euphoria in December, but I want you to remember XRP hit $3.50, and I bet it has 100 more reasons to go to $3.50 and beyond than it ever had in December. I mean, and that's not exaggerating. The things that are going on now, it's not even a comparison. But I believe that we were at the euphoria stage during that. But remember, that was just one of about 4 or 5 or 6 of those euphoria type stages that we've been in just to this point. The real euphoria hasn't even begun. We've since spent the last 8 or 10 months going down this, and I think that the one that they don't put on here that should be on here, and that's what I'm seeing in a lot of social media and whatnot, is the anger stage, which may be a combination of some of these. But the people that are acting like that, especially the ones that are in the XRP community and should know better, and maybe they're just young, I don't know the answer to that, but some of you need to man up. I've told everybody before, put your big boy pants on. Many of you may not have ever been through this type of fluctuation, but in any kind of market. But this market, like I've told you many times before, this is the creation of a new asset class. And so we're going to go through many more of these, but I believe that the next euphoria stage is going to be bigger than anything we've seen so far. And many of you, those of you who have displayed this panic and anger and all this stuff I've been seeing, you might want to take your exit when this next euphoria stage hits, because if you can't, it's like I told you the other day, like C3 Nick said, if you can't deal with the 90% losses, then you don't deserve to have to go through to experience the thousands of percent gains. And that's true. Some people just need to grow up, and maybe this is one of their first market experiences, but it's time to grow up. It's time to put the big boy pants on, like I've said before. This is a big boy game. We're not playing in silly little dollars. We're playing in this sandbox has right now 200 and something $billion on it. But this sandbox, as I've said before, is going to be 20 to 100 trillion before it's over. And so you need to man up, quit whining about why is it not going up? Because I know from experience, it doesn't go up because you said, okay, now this happened and therefore it's going to go up. That is not when it goes up. It goes up when you go to bed one night depressed and then you wake up the next morning and you can't believe what your eyes are seeing. That's when it goes up, and it'll be when you least expect it. And so you should go through your day feeling great that you've invested in the best digital asset ever created in the history of the world, and quit whining about why it isn't doing this, why it didn't do this. It's going to do it, but it's not going to do it on your time. It's going to do it on its time. And so I wanted to show you. I found an article from today that kind of reiterates what a lot of what I'm saying here. These are just a handful of the many things that were summarized in this article that I've been talking about over the last few months. The first thing it mentions, and this article is called "From Back to Bitcoin: 10 Signs Crypto is Leading the Money Revolution," and it goes through a few things that are the big picture reasons that you need to chill out and put your big boy pants on. They just didn't call it that. The first one is that the Bitcoin volatility is low. In other words, the volatility's come down so much and it seems like it's just found itself a little base. And so that's the first indicator that we could be hitting a point where the bull market blasts off. The next one is they were talking about how Coinbase was valued at $8 billion, which that's huge in itself. That's why, the valuations of like this, that's why all these traditional brokerage firms are getting, and the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, Fidelity, that's why all these companies are coming in, because they see the money. And they see that this money that's in it right now is not even close to what's coming, and they're going to help it come. Next, I've told you this 1,000 times. This is the biggest thing that there is for the market overall. Backed is on the way. Backed is coming. That is huge, because that signals to everybody in the world that the water's nice and warm. You can come in for a swim. There's no sharks. It's going to be nice, and they're all going to come when that flag goes up too. Okay, the next thing it says is that about the top flight to the crypto-related businesses. It mentions in here that Michael Lee, a 7-year veteran from LinkedIn Analytics, he left and came to Coinbase. Binance hired this guy, a Wall Street capital markets specialist who managed several IPOs on the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. Crypto exchange Gemini hired Robert Cornish, a former chief information officer at NICE. These are not people that are leaving because they don't know the money and the capital that's coming into this market. They're not leaving. They're not leaving existing huge amounts of capital at the New York Stock Exchange and all those places because they think no money's coming to crypto. They're leaving because they know what's about to happen. Then they mentioned Bill Clinton speaking at the Ripple at Swell, and they said they were talking about how it's not just the millennials that know what's coming. They said Clinton called the possibilities of blockchain staggeringly great. Next, the financial advisors are looking into cryptocurrencies, and I mentioned this the other day. A recent survey of more than 450 financial advisors by Bitwise Asset Management found that 83% had clients who were asking about crypto. If you think, and I've told you a bunch of times, those financial advisors they're not going to keep listening to people asking them about a product and not come up with a product to sell so that they can make a commission on that. They smell the money, and I've told you this over and over. Then it says industry leaders are coming together to form alliances. Ripple, as well as Coinbase, and all these companies went to Congress. They're forming lobbying groups. They're starting to throw money at the problem of getting the regulations where they need to be. I've mentioned to you Hester Pierce from the SEC. She basically scolded her colleagues to tell them they need to approve these Bitcoin ETFs. It's going to happen. Next thing, regulators are coming together to form alliances. They're talking about this, the CFTC chair, Giancarlo, just announced a strategic alliance with Australia to enhance global awareness of the critical role of regulators in 21st century digital markets. Crypto and blockchain courses are exploding at universities. I mean, Stanford, Cornell, Berkeley, New York University. They're not teaching their students, the smartest kids in the world, about cryptocurrencies and blockchain for no reason. And then I wanted to finish by telling you this, and they say it's the evolution. Several papers, including one by researchers at Imperial College London, as well as a study by the International Monetary Fund, point out the evolutionary rise of cryptocurrencies. That's what you're in. You're in the middle of an evolutionary rise. So don't sit around and get all upset and depressed and mad and angry about something that you have no reason to be mad and angry about. What you need to be doing is preparing for what's coming, because and thinking about things like your exit strategies and how are you gonna get your money out when the time does come? Have you talked to your accountant about how you're going to address capital gains taxes and things like this? You need to be looking at what the things that wealthy people and responsible people look at when they're thinking about the money that they've made, because that's what's coming. You need to quit whining about why hadn't done this or this. That is a waste of everyone's time. And stop attacking people. That's not a very grown-up thing either. You should build people up. You should, that's the worst possible thing that you could do for anyone when a market's down is attack them. Everybody should be building each other up. We're all in this together, especially in the Ripple community. But a lot of people, and I realize that a lot of this market is younger people, and that's a great thing. But a lot of young people have grown up and not learned some of the basic lessons of how you deal with what feels like a bad situation at the time. That old saying about when the going gets rough, the tough get going. That's what it's about. People, you're not going to get anywhere in life if you start whining when the going gets tough. You toughen up, you man up, you put your big boy pants on, and you look for the good in what's going on, because there is so much good that's coming, and you work towards what you know is going to happen because you've done the research, you've looked at all of the factual information, not the emotional information. Who gives a darn about emotions? Take a step back and look at what's coming. I just gave you a few of them and summarized them for you. But those of you that have gotten caught up in that whirlwind, and it's so easy to get caught up in that whirlwind of negativity. When I was a financial advisor, they literally told us that if you ever see one of your financial advisor colleagues start to talk negative, they told us to get away from them, because those people, it's like going down a drain of negativity. They start swirling down the drain, and it'll do the same thing to you. And so I'll finish by saying what I've said over and over. Put your big boy pants on and be positive and look for those silver linings. They're everywhere. And a revolution is coming. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. We're here to win, and the win is on its way. Thanks.